Thank you for joining me. And the next in our evenly weighted stances, in our stances basics, is Taoist awaits the dawn. Now, for those of you who don't know, Tai Chi is a Taoist art, and the Taoists, they were medicine men, healers, spiritualists, like to live in the mountains, commune with nature and animals and spirits and all those sorts of things. I like to think of them as the original hippies. But their awaiting of the dawn stance is going to be very similar to the last one that we did, new in package. However, we are just going to start adding some levels of detail and a bit of precision to it that new in the package didn't really entail. So, the first thing that we're going to do in Taoist Awaits the Dawn is we're going to start looking at our feet and how our stance is set up. I can't get too close to do this, but I'm going to try right about there. So, when we did new in package, we weren't too worried about specifics for how anything was set, just that things were generally even. So our left and right was basically the same, our front and back was basically the same. We were evenly weighted and just hanging out and breathing. So when Taoist Awaits the Dawn, we're going to start adding some specifics like exactly how parallel our feet are and how to determine what in fact parallel is, because our feet are kind of triangles and it would be very difficult to set parallel for one without it really messing up the others. So we're going to split the difference a little bit, energetically speaking, between our big toe and our other four toes. There is sort of a line where our big toe can really accentuate pretty easily against our other four toes, right? So that's the line we're going to use to set parallel. So the line that divides our big toe from our other four toes, going straight back through the heel, that is what we're calling forward. So that line on both of our feet point forward. That should mean that if our feet are relatively healthy, our big toe should skew slightly in and our other toes should skew slightly out of that line. This would be an exaggerated example of it, but kind of doing that sort of thing. It would actually be closer to there-ish. So once we've established those are parallel, and we want to be very precise about setting this up, now we got to say how wide should our stance be. There's a bunch of different answers to this, but they generally get summed up as a small, medium, and large. Basically, small, closer together, standing higher up, medium, a little bit wider, and large, you start getting into crazy down there sort of things. We're going to shoot for medium. So, medium to start off with. Sorry, I'm going to back up a bit here. How do we establish what medium is? Now, medium is called shoulder width, but where exactly on the shoulders that is, anybody's guess. Lots of different answers to it. The one that I'm going to work with is actually more based on the height of our knee. So if I were to, the way it was shown to me, is if I were to kind of kick up on the balls of my feet on one leg, turn that in 90 degrees, drive my knee straight down to the ground, my knee should wind up pretty much on my instep, right there. If I stand up, twist, put my feet down, square everything up, that is a medium frame stance for me. Now, if you can't get down that far, you can also grab a measuring tape and just measure from your toes up to the top of your kneecap. Same answer. You can draw that out on the floor for yourself, and you want to get really comfortable getting into that width. So that sort of thing has just got to become natural for you. And this is where we're really going to start, our journey into Tai Chi, where we're going to start finding all the things that are out of place, and we're going to purposefully put things back into place. And we're going to, when we put things back into place, we're going to say to ourselves, wow, that feels weird, but I know this is the correct alignment. And we're going to start using that feeling of, wow, that feels weird, to start aligning and correcting ourselves, so that every time we start doing anything that is in a medium-sized, evenly weighted horse stance, we know that our feet are dead parallel and our width is set to this medium size based on our own anatomy. And we're just going to burn this into our synapses that this is the stance. The way we do that is by hanging out there for extended periods of time. This is one of the most fundamental practices in not only Tai Chi, but many martial arts, Qigong in general, is being able to do static posture holds, not in a bodybuilding posing sort of way, actually completely the opposite, where we're going to try and get rid of any tension and just get used to that feeling really weird until the weird feeling starts to go away and that becomes normal. So this is our first introduction to what is going to become normal for us. And that first thing is going to be, my feet are pointed forward when they are aligned this way. My legs, if I get into a medium stance, my legs are going to be this distance apart. They are going to be shoulder width based on my own anatomy, but it's actually more the length of my shin. Now, from here, Taoist awaits the dawn, I need to pick myself up from the crown of my head, right? The very tippy-toppy point of your head. And the way I like to think of this one is, if you were to divide yourself absolutely perfectly down the center, left and right, you would get a line straight through your body. If you were to do the same thing, turn to 90 degrees, picking yourself up from the top of your head, and draw a line straight down front and back, cutting your mass in half front and back, you get another axis line. Those two together form our center line. And our center line needs to expand up and down at the same time, lengthening out our torso, lengthening out our neck, our spine. Feel the whole thing stretching up, pulling up. You can feel like there's a string coming out of the top of your head attached to a helium balloon that's floating away. You can feel that someone is pulling up on your ears. If that's a better visualization for you, pick your own visualizations. But as this floats away, everything else in our system floats down, sinks, descends, drops, hangs off of this point. And this is how we do Taoist awaits the dawn. And I recommend you try this when you first roll out of bed in the morning, maybe not before dawn, but if you are so inclined, go for it. When you get out of bed in the morning, rather than just immediately checking your email, roll out, stand up, set yourself, make sure, okay, my toes are pointed straight ahead, my feet are straight ahead, they are absolutely parallel, they are not skewed in any way. I have the correct width or feeling of my feet being wide enough that my weight is equally supported left and right. My weight is equally distributed front and back. I'm not leaning any one way or the other. I am tall through the top of my head, and everything else is hanging down. My arms are resting along the sides of my body. My middle fingers are pointing down the seams of my pants. And I'm going to hang out here, just allowing things to align, allowing things to relax, letting everything straighten up. Maybe you slept weird. Maybe you had a 2-year-old kicking you. Happens to me. And we're just going to allow everything to line up, straighten up, front and back, left and right, everything equally distributed, head floating up, everything else hangs off of that. And breathe. Just take some time. Don't worry about too much. We're just taking this time to align some things up. Let go, relax, straighten, become tall, and breathe. All right, now you can go check your email.